have this little app. Okay, just so I don't miss any details. Okay, so you're saying, okay, so this is sorted by like the highest monthly, not quite. Oh, you
It's
just mean you have the column. Okay, got it. Okay,
yeah,
so
so this is the SAO, the state auditor's office. This is their lowest and then the highest for that particular classification. And so for accountant 3, we have 4 people and our average is 4237. And so this would be like probably a good kind of idea of where, where we could see maybe where some of our deficiencies are. Um, the problem with like the lowest monthly salary um, on maybe like admin 3 is that looks like that's a part-time position. I can tell by looking at it. So that person's half-time. So I'm not sure if I'd want to calculate, using that. But so this is the lowest salary we have at our agency, and then the highest, and then the average. And so if you also look at, so this is a nice chart. What it would be nice to compare it to is if you look at the last page, go to some of those worksheets on the end. Keep going. Yeah, so
yeah, so
that's
that's
not
not
it. Not it either. Yeah, see, this isn't my spreadsheet. It is my spreadsheet, but they keep messing with it. So, um, maybe go
we
to
go to
the
the
far
far
left.
left.
Okay, so pay range by classification. Okay, it seems I thought there was a page that showed what the SAO was as well. Yeah, but I mean, so the pay rate by classification. So this is our data from our agency, but this is a spreadsheet that somebody else created. I think what I'd like to do is pull this data straight out of CAPS and pivot that. And the reason why I say that is because I want to be able to overlay every month. Does that make sense? And so
Mm,
this is, yeah, so this is something that, um, that he came up with. If you look in that folder, you'll see something that says, let's see. Oh, I guess I didn't put it in there yet, but I have a worksheet a spreadsheet that has everything on it, like diversity. Actually, it may be on that diversity one. Yeah, I think I renamed it just to remind myself. So this has a lot of data. This is everybody that's currently on payroll. I took out their socials and stuff like that, but this has like their last salary action, their hourly rate. Um, it has if they have veterans preference, which is column R, um, their birth dates, their age, which the birth dates calculate the age, um, and then ethnic group, for diversity to kind of capture. And what I'd like to do is maybe capture diversity over a time period because we've actually really been working very hard in our agency. We had very little diversity, and then and then just look at that type of information. But that's why I wanted to put something together so that, but for this particular one, I pulled all the data that I could get um, out
hmm.
of out of the system. And this is one complete spreadsheet. And the nice thing about this is I can customize it and just overlay it every time we decide we want to create some sort of dashboard. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think what I would have to do is tell you what I think diversity looks like at our agency, and give you like a little synopsis. But, what I'd like to do is maybe something on every position. So you'll see under H, it'll say functional job description or the state description, column F, and then maybe what the monthly salary is, and then get the minimum, the median, and the maximum range for each of those. But I want to do it by historic sites and then Austin, because the sites for some classifications, those salaries are a little bit different. So,
And
but
this is all historic sites, all this data?
so if you scroll to the left,
Mm,
no, but you should be able to tell by the department ID. So if you look at the department, either B or C, you keep scrolling. Yeah, so anything that says Austin headquarters, curatorial, retail ops, those are all historic sites. And then the rest of them you can tell because it says historic sites.
Okay. Okay, so divide between historic sites and everything else.
Yeah. And so for Austin, historic sites include retail, curatorial, and then you'll see the Austin headquarters. Okay. And so I think they're all, yes, all of those right there. 1601, 02, 06, and then you'll see everything else that says historic sites in front of it. That's historic sites related. Yeah, there's more up top. You'll see, keep all those Austin headquarters ones. Oh, scroll down. Sorry, you went too far. So all the 1601, you have a few more in there you're missing.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see where you have it highlighted, there's some
Yeah.
above that in 1601.
1601, 1602, 1606, 1652.
And anything that says Austin headquarters, it starts with row 98.
Okay.
And those are all 1601, 02, 06, and then anything that says historic sites in front of it after that.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and see where, yep, it stops right at, yep, right there, 16. But then you're going to see more probably on the bottom that go with that. Though you'll see some more that say historic sites. You might.
Okay.
So I want to compare, I want to do a comparison of, Austin, and not a comparison, but I want Austin to be separate from historic sites.
Got it. Okay, for
Okay.
sure. Okay. Yeah, well, this is a really good one. It's very complete. And why is it called diversity? What do you mean by that? Is it because of the age or like some other demographic?
It's based on the ethnic group. So anything that's not white.
Here it
So
is. Okay.
you could probably break it up by white, American Indian, Hispanic, Black, and Asian. You'll see if you filter through that, it'll probably give, I don't know, 5 or 6 different yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So anything that's not white pretty much is going to be, but if we could,
So
yeah, so when
sorry,
you
someone was saying
so,
goodbye.
so when we do it, we can break it out by white, multi, Hispanic, Black, Asian, American, Indian. And then what I can do is get the actual what they can consider when we do a report is usually going to be Black or Hispanic when we're reporting EEO data.
Okay.
So I would have to look that up. So,
Okay.
but those are,
That's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I can start with this and yeah, always feel free to give me as much
Yes, this
feedback,
is,
guidance.
yeah, I just took the socials off and just put it, dump this in there because this is one that we run that I can modify and either add to or delete columns. So like I probably like age is okay because when we do the EEO report, we capture stuff, you know, we have different age groups that we capture. But for this report, I think they want to look at diversity. So we can compare it over a time period. So if we start now, then maybe in 6 months we run it again and we do that comparison. If I had data from 6 months ago, I could probably try to find it. Maybe I could find some historical data, but that might take some digging. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can get started with this for now. And then, yeah, the historical data will help out a lot with that analysis.
yeah, maybe we just start out with this and you put this on one worksheet and again on another one. And then when I get new data, I just upload it each month to, for a comparison. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we can get all the trends and stuff. But this will be enough to start getting an idea
Okay.
for like the shape of the data and see what's possible.
Then she can tell me, we can give her a few dashboards and she can kind of tell me what what Dr. Carroll wants to see. But this is one that I wanted to see. And then another one is like the retirement forecaster. I sent that one. We have several people that are already eligible for retirement. So I want to use that kind of for succession planning and say, if you look at that, spreadsheet, the top, I'm going to say 30 people are already retirement eligible because it had yesterday's date on it when I ran it. So if it had yesterday's date on it, that means they're already eligible. And then you'll see me, I'm about 5 below that date. So, um, so I'm trending on the retirement forecaster too, but the top 30 people are probably eligible to retire from our agency. And that's not going to be here. It's going to be in another spreadsheet that I put in the folder. So
That's this one.
yeah, so if you look at that, our rule is rule of 80. And so if you scroll to the top, all those people in column D, they're already eligible. Yeah, based on the date. So through 31, those people are already eligible. And then anybody else below, you'll see the dates change starting with, but you want to use the eligible 80.
So these are three different options.
They are, but for the most part, like Eva might be the only one that would be eligible sooner in the 65 category. There's very few that would be eligible earlier in those other two. So if you look there, see, I'm number 37.
You're almost there. Oh my God, you
Yeah.
and Daniel are so close.
Yeah, so it's Dan, and I always tell Dr. Carroll, go be careful because Daniel, Jada, and you see Rob Huggins, that's the IT director. We're boom, boom, boom. So,
Very, very close. Wow.
yeah, so I'm a little older, but they've been with the state a little longer. So yeah, so you'll see, but mostly column D is going to be the category you'll use, except for maybe like Eva, she's an anomaly just because she's almost 70. So, but that's a good, and if you look at column J, you probably have access to do like a pivot table against these department IDs so that we can figure out where they work. Does that make sense? I think it's actually in the previous one that I gave you, but
Between this one and this one.
yeah. So if we could like pivot to identify what 1101 is administration, then we can identify those people on the other one. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just this particular report just didn't pull where they worked. I can try to add it though. I have to go into the SQL and add it.
So this is essentially saying like all of these
So
people, like this is the date that they can retire.
yes. So when I ran this report, it was yesterday. So if they're already eligible as of yesterday, it's going to put the date, yesterday's date. And that's what it did because I pulled this yesterday. So they're already eligible.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so everybody else, their dates are correct in that column. But the ones that say like yesterday's date, they're already eligible. So, and then it'd be nice to kind of see where they're at, what department they're in.
Yeah,
So
for
for
sure.
instance, so
I
for
can make
instance,
that join.
yeah, for instance, Teresa's in administration. So, we have 5 people in administration that are already eligible for retirement, or maybe like, and then do one within 5 years and maybe within 10 years. And then, kind of tell that story so that we can, um, be on top of some succession planning in those areas. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, for sure. So you're kind of like alerting, like in this department, we have, these upcoming vacancies.
right. So what we would be doing, what we would be using it for is to basically, we would not send this out to DDs and stuff because really we're not supposed to like be pushing retirement. But what we would be using it for is succession planning. So if I can retire next year, I may need to put in place some training for those folks that are here in case I retire. And so we're going to start working on succession planning. We have a lot of people like in history programs that are about, I'm going to say at least 5 or 6 of them that are eligible. So we need to start thinking about what happens when they leave. How do we train them? We need to put in processes and procedures. They need to start doing that now. So whoever steps into their role, they're not going to have all that historical knowledge. They need to know, okay, what they do on a day-to-day basis, and we need to start identifying people that can do those items and step into those roles like kind of like a succession, like 1, 2, 3, something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's an amazing idea. I love that so much. I think that could look really good, and I see how helpful that's going to be because in some of these, the department heads or hiring managers might have no idea that they're going to be facing some upcoming vacancies. Potentially.
yeah, some of them have been here for a long time. They're like, yeah, I'm not leaving. So that's great. But at some point they're gonna leave. So we're just planning for it. We're not saying, hey, leave. We're just gonna plan for it. So where did you learn how to become so proficient in Power BI? My son's a data analyst.
Really just by migrating dashboards was the first exercise I had was to migrate a company onto Power BI and then migrating them back into Tableau because they didn't really have in mind like what they truly needed. And then they had to move back. But then after that I've always had such a passion for more like creative interactive reports.
Oh, nice.
And then I just had to find out like all the cool stuff you can do in Tableau. How do you do that in Power BI? And each of the tools has their own limitations, but um, it
Yeah, because
really seems.
I think they have my son learning Python and it's something that he was really a finance major, but he has a passion for analyzing data, like budget stuff and sales stuff, and so he likes that.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like more and more companies are moving to Tableau, Power BI from Tableau because it's just, to cut costs and because a lot of companies just need like more basic reports. They don't need all these bells and whistles. So, um, it's really cool that he knows Python because that's how you can add all the interactivity to Power BI is through
Oh,
more of
nice.
like layering up all the And then Python is good for everything. You can literally solve any problem with Python. It's amazing.
Oh, okay. Is it, so there are different levels, like it's Python, Power BI, and then um
Yeah, Python is more of like a scripting language, or I mean, you can use it
mhm.
to build an application. You can build any sort of like, so you can build a script to automate this, where it goes into caps and it clicks the download button and, makes all the selections, all that. Or you can have it be a calculator, or you can have it build you a web page. Like, it's just, you can program whatever you want for it to
Nice.
do. It'll do anything for you. It's really
Yeah,
useful to know.
I was telling him, we just started using Osana. He goes, "Oh, you just started that? Oh, I've been using that for years." I was like, "Oh gosh, whatever," because he's 24. So I'm like, "Okay." But state government, we don't get into doing a lot of like the new stuff just because we don't always have the funding. And I said, well, it's just not something that we've ever been able to do because we don't have a lot of funding. But now they're freeing up some more, more and more funding for us to. I mean, we need to do something to become more efficient and see where our trends are. So, but well, let me know if you need anything else. But I will put something together. But this is kind of a brief explanation. And if you look at that diversity spreadsheet, you'll see where we're trying to look at average salary in history programs, um, or where the salaries are. You also see like classification, how many FTEs we have, different things, a summary of how much we're spending in that area. The only problem with that is it just shows the on that diversity work that only shows the current positions that are filled. That's why we kind of keep a separate vacancy report because the system for some reason doesn't spit out a report that has all the vacancies and the positions that are filled, and I'm not sure why. It should sure would be nice, but it doesn't. uh,
Okay, well, little by little, we'll just get closer and closer. But it's so good to get started because you realize all the little things that could be improved, like on the data side, also, like what people can start inputting whenever they fill out these information sheets. And, if only we had this other data point, it would just make our analysis so much better.
yes.
And yeah, so
And I think as you build them, we'll go, oh, maybe we need to tweak this or tweak that, and then we'll have a better idea of what we really want. So,
yeah, for sure.
okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, I'm really excited about this project. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I will talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Enjoy
Okay.
your conference. Talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.